You are listening to PT on Ice, The Older Adult, a collaboration between the Senior Rehab Project and the Institute of Clinical Excellence. This is a rebroadcast of an original episode that can be found at ptonice.com.
Everybody, and welcome to the GeriPT version of PT on Ice. I am Christina Previtt. I am one of the lead faculty in the geriatric division of the ICE family. For all of you, I hope you are having a very Merry Christmas. And if you are one of our Canadian watchers, then happy Boxing Day. The fun thing about being a Canadian on the ICE faculty is that we get to compare different holidays. And so Boxing Day in Canada is essentially like the Black Friday of the US. And it's actually funny because now we're starting to do both. So we have Black Friday and we also have Boxing Day, which is the 26th. And people line up for these crazy door crashers the same way that they do for Black Friday and get a lot of shopping done. So I'm on here a couple of minutes early because we are going on a shopping trip after this. But I thought that I would talk today about the business side of GeriPT. So a lot of you guys know about the content that I'm teaching in terms of the modern management of the older adult course. But the two other hats that I wear is that I am a PhD candidate in healthy aging, but I own a business called Stave Off. And Stave Off is a physiotherapy clinic gym hybrid model that is trying very hard to gear to the 40 to 50 plus generation and age cohorts. Essentially trying to take a lot of the work that Dustin and I talk about in the MMOA course and translate that into a business model that is going to be profitable and is going to promote healthy aging in my community. And so I often talk to new grads about the stats and the marketing statistics around the baby boomer population, because oftentimes when we're in outpatient orthopedics, we can think potentially that we're not necessarily focusing on geriatrics, and especially with some of the aging demographics and some of the changes that are happening through the US and Canada, and I would argue globally, we're going to be seeing a shift. And so the American Physiotherapy Association posted a statistic that said that 1/3 of all individuals seen in outpatient orthopedics are actually over the age of 65. So even if you're in a sports medicine outpatient clinic, you are going to be seeing people over the age of 65. And as we are continuing to grow, the baby boomers, which are between the ages of 55 and 73, based on their year of birth between 1946 and 1964, they are becoming a huge portion of the population. They make up about 40% of the US population, and they are making up a significant amount of the disposable and net worth of our population in Canada and the US. And so I thought it would be really interesting to talk a little bit about some of the business of geriatric physical therapy and try and start a conversation around some of the marketing as well. So I was talking with my family this weekend, and we were talking about how sometimes the millennials can get a lot of negative stigma around them about being lazy or not being big contributors to the workforce, et cetera, et cetera. And some of my younger cousins were upset about that, and we were discussing that. And then about 10 minutes later, they made a comment about older adults being bad with technology. And I made the opposing argument saying, well, if you're going to say that all these things that you hate, that people are making these generalizations about you around your work ethic, then you can't say the same thing about an older person with technology. And so I went and grabbed some statistics about geriatric physical therapy and the baby boomer population. And I thought that this would be really interesting for anybody who's in outpatient orthopedics or working as a contractor, because it's something to think about. Okay, so it said 60% of people between 50 and 64 are now on at least one social media site. And predominantly the baby boomer population, so anyone from 55 plus, is on Facebook. Like 82% are on Facebook. And so that is probably where we're going to see the most marketing direct to consumer happening for this population. They said about 60% of baby boomers spend time reading blogs and online articles. I always joke when I'm talking about some of the business of side of physical therapy that my younger people will scroll. They will just scroll through, and if you don't catch their attention within like 0.5 of a millisecond, you're not getting their attention. However, some of my clients who are in the 55 plus age category, they read what we are putting out. They watch those videos. And so they're probably more likely to engage with our content. And we've seen that with our Facebook and even our Instagram feeds, because I would argue that a lot more baby boomers are starting to switch over to Instagram. And a lot of my clients from the gym side of Stave Off are very active on Instagram, a little bit more as watchers and commenters than posters, but still they're there. So baby boomers spend 27 hours online, which is actually 2 hours more per week than those between 16 and 34, which I thought was a really interesting statistic. I can pull the link down here where I'm getting some of these consumer stats. Baby boomers are 19% more likely to share content. And if you guys are contractors or you're in the world of social media, that sharing of content, that organic reach that you're going to have with your clients is really important for building your brand, and it drives down your marketing budget, because if people are sharing it organically, then you don't have to boost it to be a sponsored ad in front of individuals' faces. In terms of how we're marketing to boomers, they prefer videos that are slower paced and have a lot of information than the fast-paced, very visually stimulating videos that we see with the younger generations. So they're looking for something that is going to explain why arthritis is happening, or why they need a knee replacement, or what some of the things that they're going to do in physio are going to make it so that they can continue to go on cruises and continue to travel. 96% of boomers use search engines, 95% use email. And so these are individuals who are in their 60s and 70s that can often be, like, we can have this assumption that they're not on these mediums, and actually they are. Here's one of the biggest one. 70% of disposable income in the US is controlled by baby boomers. If we are kind of thinking about cash-based networks, we have individuals who have money to spend on their health, are starting to become increasingly more aware of the changes that are happening in their health as they get older, and are willing to spend the time and the money to make sure that they are going to continue with increased life expectancy into the mid-80s, that they are going to have a quality of life that they want for their retirement years, that they want to still spend quality time with family, significant others, friends, social networks, grandparents, or with their grandchildren. These type of things are very motivating to this population. And it's something that we as PTs, I think, are in a great position to be able to optimize physical function, improve a quality of life. And it comes with reaching these individuals. I talk to people who are in public sector and they say, well, I'm not a business owner. Why do I have to know about these type of things? And I tell all of my clients, as a physical therapist, I am in sales. We don't really like to think about it that way. But if we are not having a good interaction, if we're not really establishing that therapeutic alliance with our clients, then they're not going to want to continue to, one, come back and rebook, two, to continue that relationship with us. We're probably not going to get the outcomes that we want because all of a sudden they're going to shut down. There's literature to support that if you don't have a good relationship with your doctor, you're more likely to stay sick. You stay sick for longer. And so some of these marketing statistics and getting that buy-in or reaching these individuals and selling them on the fact that, physical therapy is something that they can use to keep going on cruises, to keep traveling, to keep doing all those things that they want to do, gardening, golf, pickleball, bowling, hockey, whatever it may be. These are some of the statistics that are going to be important. And I think some of the messages that we as physical therapists need to get across to individuals. So some of the other statistics are around, their social media usage. We're starting to see that a lot more baby boomers are online shoppers. They're starting to look at reviews. They're starting to look at testimonials. In Canada, that's actually a huge barrier for us because we're not allowed to put testimonials on our website. We're technically not allowed to have Facebook reviews, which are a huge, huge driver of business into the clinic. And so things to think about as we are going into the next year, into 2019. If you are a contractor or you are a business owner who may be marketing more to millennials, you may want to think about your marketing strategy and start adding avenues for working with a 50 plus demographic because they're on social media. They have the disposable income to cash pay. They're looking for people who are going to give them the quality of life and help them ensure that they're going to have the health that they want in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And as we're seeing a shift in the aging population, that they're making up a big percentage of our population, our healthcare system is struggling to keep up. We need to look a little bit more downstream. And so we have these individuals who are very ill and are taking up a lot of resources in the healthcare system. How can we prevent some of the baby boomers from transitioning there? Or at least trying to stave off and square the curve, as Dustin says, and have them have a good functional trajectory until end of life. So that is all for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. If you're looking for CEUs, we have a new online cohort of the Modern Management of the Older Adult starting the 13th of January. I listened to my podcast last time and I definitely said June. I'm going to blame pregnancy brain for that. So January 13th, we are getting started and we are super, super excited to bring that content to you guys. Our next course is the beginning of February. We're in Wyoming. And so if you guys want to see us live and in action, you definitely can do that. Otherwise, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. I am about to go Boxing Day shopping, and I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season and are ready for the new year to approach. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, go to ptonice.com, click on the Courses tab, and check out Modern Management of the Older Adult. This is a course that myself and Christina Previtt are going to be teaching. It's 8 weeks, an online format, interactive, and solely focused on helping students change how they practice and how they work with older adults. For more information, just go to ptonice.com. Thanks.